What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with an unboxing video of some vintage collection Star Wars figures that just got back from Collector Archive Services for grading. And as you guys know, I've already talked about, Collector Archive Services has a special going right now through the end of this month, February 28th, where if you send in any standard 6x9 size action figure, vintage or modern, they will turn it around in 30 days or less. And it's running a lot less than that because I sent these in about 2 weeks ago. So door to door, it was about 2 weeks. So they're running really quickly right now. And I wanted to kind of show you some of the items that arrived. And a lot of these I've already shown on the channel. And, they were just kind of some doubles that I sent in. The first one is this one. This is my figure of shame for this batch because I did the cardinal sin of not opening up the Big Bad Toy Store collector grade from the boxes that they send them in. I just sent them over to CAS and said, I'm sure they're fine. Well, they weren't fine. This one was not. This one is the Mandalorian Super Commando, and it had a ding on the blister, or actually two dings, it looks like. So right here, there's a small ding, and then right here, there's a small ding. So if I had just taken the time to open it before I sent it in, it would have probably been one that I would have given away on the channel or something and not graded. But unfortunately, I did grade it, and it did come back with an 80 plus. So the card got a 90, the figure score was a 95, but the blister was an 80 because of those two dings on the top of the blister. Collector grade my butt with Big Bad Toy Store. They are just, hit or miss. My last batch, I had several that were 95s or 90 plus. I did have a couple of good hits in this batch, but this one was not. So you got to really check those Big Bad Toy Store boxed collector grade before you send in anything to be graded. Not that there's a ton of you that do it, but it is, it's a great item. Now, I had listed this on Rogue 5 Toys on Facebook, which I'm a member of, and I said, hey, it's $65 shipped. I'm taking the loss on that one. It costs $60 to grade this, plus to and from CAS, the shipping, plus obviously the cost of this VC243. So it says $65 shipped. It's all yours. I'll take the loss. And it was claimed by a Patreon supporter, Joe Rice. So I just did not feel comfortable taking his money because Joe was kind enough to send me a gift about a week or two ago. And that gift is here. If you follow me on Instagram, at Action Figure Grader on Instagram, you will see that he had sent me this one. Joe is a good buddy and a Patreon supporter, and this is the VC44 Luke Skywalker Dagobah landing, but this is the variant that I talk about all the time in my market updates with the clear blue saber. I've found that in general, the clear blue saber version is a lot harder to find than the darker blue saber, and it's just one I've kind of been putting off, but Joe sent this to me. It's a beautiful example, punched example, US card, but the card is in fantastic condition. So I'm going to send that off to CAS to be graded alongside the other one in my collection, which I've had. This is the very first vintage collection figure I ever bought maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And this is the darker blue saber variation. So I'll do a quick close-up of that so you can see that dark blue saber. Now, it was Jedi Temple or Jedi Temple Business or whatever that website is, Jedi Temple Archives, I believe. They talk about this running change and that in their estimation, they're about half and half. They're about, readily available with either the darker blue or their lighter blue saber. I have found that the lighter blue saber is a little tougher to find. So anyway, thank you again, Joe. And I'm going to send you that Mandalorian Super Commando CAS 80 Plus back to you as a thank you gift for the awesome VC44. Let's see what else we got here. Now, the next one, I've already opened one of these and shown you one of these. This one got an 85. This is the Ahsoka Tano Corvus. I've since sold this off to a buddy of mine, but this one scored 85, 90, 95 for an overall 85. So not as high as the 95 grade one that I got in the last batch, but I'm not going to go ahead and bother opening that one since that is one that we've talked about in the past, and probably not worth opening up again since it's already been claimed by somebody else. But another one that I do have is this one. This is one that came in this batch, and this is the reissue of Shae Vizla VC101. Obviously, this has the updated head sculpt, and I had a 90 plus. This is the one I already had in my collection that was a 90 plus. But this one came back with the 95. So this one was a big hit for this batch. So I'm going to keep this 95. It came back with straight 95s for the sub scores for an overall 97.3. It barely missed a 97, or excuse me, a 95 plus. If it had been a 97.5, that would have been a 95 plus. I've never gotten a 95 plus on any action figure that I've sent to CAS. So I came really close with this one, but unfortunately it did not hit. But it's a really nice example. And since I already had the 90 plus, I'm going to go ahead and send that one off. I sold that one to the same person who bought the Ahsoka. Next up, I got this one. This is one is staying in my collection. This is the Heavy Assault Stormtrooper from the Jedi Fallen Order video game. So this was one that I kind of sent off, and I only had one of these, so I'm glad it came back with the 90. It came back with 90s, straight 90s for the sub scores. This is VC253, kind of a gaming greats item. But anyway, it came back with straight 90s. Awesome card back. I love that card back image. It's got kind of a Gatling gun or chain gun that he comes with. And it's got kind of the black pauldron. But really, the highlight on this one is the card back. It's just an awesome looking card back with the Jedi Fallen Order. And then it also has the Stormtrooper Commander, which I don't know if I have that one or not. I can't remember. I might have skipped that one and just bought the Heavy Assault Stormtrooper. So anyway, that one did come back with a 90, and that one will stay in my collection since I think that's the only one I have for that one. If I have any others, then I'll send them in, but I don't think I do. I think that's the only one I've got. Next up is the 332nd Ahsoka's Clone Trooper, and this is a beautiful card back. I really like the helmet on this one, obviously with the red paint applications. So this one scored an 85, and this is VC248. So this is 85, 95, 95. So again, for collector grades, some of these, I like to get 90s and above, but for some of these, they just don't hit it. And this one did have a very small ding in the lower right-hand corner. I don't know if it had maybe. There it is. This is the reason it got the 85. So it's got a little bit of a spider vein on the back of the card there. So again, you got to really check. If you do collect Big Bad Toy Store collector grade and you pay that extra money for it, they're not all going to be perfect. And to me, if you're paying $2 extra for those collector grade, they shouldn't have those kind of defects, in my opinion. But it did come back with an 85. It's not like it came back with a terrible score, and it's every bit of an 85. That one I have sold as well. So that one will be going to a new home. And then finally, before we wrap this video up, is the IG-11 from the Mandalorian. I had one of these, and this one I did end up kind of passing on to one of my Patreon supporters. He bought this one. This came back with a 90 plus. 90, 95, 95. So I'm not going to keep this one, although I probably should have, since it's the only one I had. But it's a gorgeous card back. Obviously, IG-11 is a pretty great character. But unfortunately, this is the only one I've got, and I've got to pay for some of these grading costs. I can't keep everything, and this happens to be one that I had to get rid of. So from this batch, I'm really only going to be keeping the CAS 95 Shae Vizla and the Heavy Assault Stormtrooper, and then I sold the rest of them to kind of help pay for some of these grading costs. I did put together the Collector Archive Services photos and grading labels at the end of this video in a slideshow for those that would like to see it. I just want to say thanks so much for watching, and I will be back soon.